Welcome to your seated yoga practice. So we're just simply sitting today. Today's yoga practice is about getting these hips to open up. It's a really gentle practice. The benefits of sitting cross-legged are numerous. When we sit cross-legged, we're looking at increasing that range of motion in the openness of the hips, which a lot of people really struggle with. It improves the blood flow. It improves the circulation by having those ankles crossed. It's forcing the inner thighs to start to pump blood and reoxygenate, not just only benefiting the knees, but reoxygenate the entire body. That heart starts to work. When we're sitting cross-legged, we also know it's stretching those muscles, and it's really, really great to help improve the posture. So we don't spend a lot of time sitting these days, especially cross-legged. So this is something that is quite uncomfortable for the majority of people. So I've got some tools today. I'm going to take you through sitting cross-legged and a really nice short practice that's just going to open up that posture and relax the neck and the shoulders. Remember that you can sit any way you like though. So yoga really is it's there to support you. So my job is to show you and inspire you into ways of movement. But at the end of the day, it's your body and it is your practice. Please remember to do it in your own way. So join me for just simply sitting yoga. So lovely yogis, you can see I've got this big squishy, what you would call a meditation cushion. It's full of buckwheat. You could use a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, you are most welcome to use books, towels, blankets, anything to make yourself comfortable sitting cross-legged. So there's a couple options. I'm actually going to sit on this one and demonstrate that in a sec. But the first one I will say is when you come to sit cross-legged, it's really important that you listen to your pelvis, your knees, and your ankles. So for some, sitting with the ankles tucked underneath is perfectly fine. This might be the place to start. For some of you, it may be too strong and you actually need to flick the legs out in front and sit like this for now. Perfectly fine. Remember, your yoga in your body. Another thing you can do is actually use towels or books or blocks. If you have yoga blocks, absolutely use those. Prop them underneath to give yourself a little moral support. And each time you practice, the knees, the hips, especially the pelvic area, is going to relax and allow those hips to open. Another little secret here is using this prop underneath your hips. So for some, it's really more about having the hips a little higher than the knees. So you can see I'm kind of bunching it up underneath me. This is a way to practice opening those hips. So my knees are down, they're below the pelvis, which is far more relaxing. So there's plenty of options. Take a pause now of the video. Find an option that feels really comfortable for you and join me for some beautiful upper body posture relieving movements. All right, yogis, so let's begin. We're going to place the right foot in front for this round. Of course, if you have your legs out in front, it doesn't really matter. But if you are doing a right to left, let's tuck the left leg in first, and the right leg can be heel to heel alignment. You might have it kind of crossed. You might have it really tucked and lots of propping. So let's find that place where you feel comfortable. That's what we're looking for here, is a kind of mild comfort. There might be a little bit of openness, but there shouldn't be a lot of discomfort there. From here, just thinking about the length of your spine. Now we tend to kind of, around the back out of habit, we tuck the chin. This doesn't leave a lot of room for the lungs to expand. So I'm going to encourage you now just to kind of lift up, press down through the points of your sits bones and unfurl that magnificent spine. This now allows the heart to sit tall, but more importantly, as you breathe in through your nose, we're getting that little expansion of the lungs. So we're just, there it is. So we've got that big, beautiful expansion. So just shutting down the eyes, we're just going to do 5 simple breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth or nose. Settling into the breath. Noticing the breath as you breathe in. And really experiencing the breath as you breathe out. Just a couple more times. Breathing in. And breathing out. You may even notice that exhalation gets a little longer than the inhalation. That's perfect. Beautiful. And you can keep the eyes closed, or maybe you want to look up and just check out what's going on. We're placing the hands down on the thighs, and we're just doing a little wavy gravy. So when we shift the weight side to side, I always recommend thinking about lifting and shifting the rib cage. So instead of being that old grandfather clock just ticking and have this completely mobile spine, we want to lift and shift here. Just kind of move side to side and feel out the amazing wonder that is your spine. If the neck is feeling good, you can kind of just start to let things shift. But if it's a little stiff today, just be really gentle through the neck. Perfect. You might even like to kind of use the hands, lean forward a little bit and come up a little bit. Of course, if you're sitting with your hips propped up, you don't lean too far forward, yeah? You'll take a little roll. So I don't come as deep when I've got the hips elevated over the knees. Perfect. Coming back to center and simply lean over to the right side. Fingertips, pads of hands, knuckles, whatever serves your wrist. We're just going to simply inhale that left arm overhead. And there's a tiny little hip flexor stretch here, so this is good for your hips. Remember, we're practicing improving circulation, improving the elasticity of the connective tissue, so that's the tendons that are attached to the bones. And I just ask you to do little circles here. So let's unwind, just circling that elbow back and down. And depending on how tight your neck is today, it might be little movements like this, just kind of staying within the space. But if you're feeling super frisky, you can even let the whole body move with the moment. So this is really interpretive. Have a listen to your shoulders, your neck, and just feel out what's right for you. Perfect. One more time. And we're just going to hold that side stretch for a little longer. And then just rolling forward, place the fingertips down and just kind of bow forward. Now this is a little stronger hold, so you're probably going to feel it, especially if you have tightness, anywhere through the outside of the hip area. So we're just kind of pausing here in this little lean, trying to open up the front of, the inner thigh, the groin area. And then use your hands just to simply walk your way up. I like to use my hands to close my legs, place them in front. Doesn't matter if you're sitting on something, make sure you've got your hands behind for balance. Just take a moment to kind of wind. This is a really nice thing to do, just to get the hips circulating again. Another nice thing to do, and I'm just going to turn sideways to avoid the dirt, is just kind of give them a little wriggle. So we're allowing the legs to just stretch out, especially if your knees are a little tender. Little wriggle, little shake here. So this is all we're doing today, is just simply working on these beautiful hips while releasing the upper body. Coming back to sitting cross-legged, but this time you're going to put the opposite leg in front. So tuck the right. Again, use your props. Maybe if you're a little too high, you want to change it up and you want to sit down flat on your mat. Feel free to play. Feel free to change things up. So again, just a little wavy gravy. Shift and lift that rib cage. Let your breath go where it needs to here. Sometimes closing the eyes and just kind of drifting away with these movements is one of the loveliest things we can do. Beautiful. When you're ready, on your next shift over to your left side. Place the hand down. And we're just going to sweep that arm overhead, create a little side stretch. Amazing bird life here this morning. A very, coming out of the rain and the cold weather, the birds are pretty frisky. So I hope you're enjoying the sounds of nature this morning. And you'll notice there's a moment here. When I breathe in, it's like my body lifts a little bit. It's like an expansion of the lungs, and then exhales a little deeper. Feel free to let the body play. Let it move if it wants to. Let's start to circle the elbows. So again, simply sitting, simply moving, just kind of playing in the space that's your body. Slowing down can be one of the loveliest things we can offer ourselves. Making those circles bigger if that feels good, and you might even let the head and body twist with the movement. It doesn't always need to be fast or hard. Sometimes the simplest things can be quite difficult. I know I'm feeling it in my hips sitting for longer periods. Beautiful. Let's come over and just take that little side bend. Gorgeous. On an exhale, just roll forward. See what happens with the hips on this side. Are they more receptive? Are they a little bit more tender? Just kind of lean. If you can, place the flats of the hands down. You can bow down as much as you like here. And then just walk your way up and just decide as you hug the knees in, do you want to do windshield wipers, which is the side to side? It might even remove my block now, just have a little play. Perfect. Do you want to lengthen out those legs and just little wriggles, yeah? Just a little wriggle here. Beautifully done. From here, we're going to find the center of the mat. Just give the knees a little bend and just lengthen out. And we're going to stretch arms overhead. And walk the feet to the left corner of the mat. Just kind of walk your ankles across. And then I always like to kind of just shimmy with my elbows. We're creating a C shape or a side bend. So you've got your feet to the left corner. You've got your upper body to the left corner. And you're just holding that right wrist for a little moral support. We're just creating now a little openness over that right hip. So we've compressed and stretched the knees and the hips, and now we're lengthening them back up. Beautiful. Bring the arms down a little bit, and you can kind of just use the elbows just to make your way to center. Just basically walk your feet to the opposite corner. We call this banana pose. So we're creating a little banana shape, yeah, a little kind of curve. So again, elbows, so you can walk the upper body to the opposite corner, arms overhead, take that left arm, beautiful. Bring the arms down, shimmy your way to center. So upper body, let's bend the knees. Give yourself a little hug. You can hold the back of the thighs just to relax those knees. Couple circles here. Change directions. Place the feet down and stretch out into your magical Shavasana. So this is really important to finish this simply sitting practice, laying nice and flat, because we've really compressed and put a lot of pressure on the inner thighs, the hips and the knees and the ankles. So this laying flat for a couple of minutes is one of the loveliest things you can offer yourself. So I'm going to ask you just to shut down your eyes and see if you can listen to the beautiful bird sounds that are coming through from my end. And all the while, just simply breathing. We're just letting nature do its work, which is so soothing and restorative for us. And from here, you're welcome to just let the class end and just lay for a little bit longer. Or perhaps you'd like to roll over to one side. And come on up to close the practice with me today. Maybe seeing if you can sit one more time cross-legged. Maybe a little more comfortable this time. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming in and nourishing your body with these gentle self-care movements and flows with me. I look forward to sharing yoga again with you soon. Thank you, and thank you.